Hey, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Extra Feature Interviews. Today I have a fabulous guest who's got an interesting film, but we're going to get into it. Tim Lightell is here and is with his film Manbaby. Welcome.
Hey, thanks, Simon. Thanks for having me on. This is great. I'm
Uh,
like your tweets, so it's fun to connect in real
yeah,
life now.
well, the tweets have kind of taken a break just because I took over the
Uh-huh.
gym, and so I do like tweeting about independent movies. So,
Yeah, yeah,
did you write this too? I forgot to write that down. I
yeah,
apologize.
yeah.
Okay,
I'm the
perfect,
writer, director,
good.
producer, everything.
Awesome. I want to start at the beginning. Why this concept? Like, this is insanity. And you must
Thanks,
get that a
thanks.
lot. People must want to know why this.
Yeah, yeah. People definitely are kind of like, why do you do it? Well, the origin story is that I used to work in adult entertainment. So when I was in adult entertainment, the mommy diaper fetish thing was actually with the channel that I worked for the biggest seller. And this is going on like 10 years ago. So this is a pretty long time ago. Um, and I wanted to try to figure out how to do something artistic with that, and so that was kind of the genesis of Manbaby. I really love like old cult campy cult movies. And 10 years ago, when I was working for the uh, adult entertainment thing, I watched a movie called The Baby from the 70s. Have you watched The Baby? Do you know that one?
You know what? I do know the film. I've never been able to find a copy.
Yeah, it's hard to find in DVD, but it's been streaming for a while. So it was streaming on
Okay.
Netflix for a while. It's streaming on
Oh,
Tubi right now alongside
okay.
Manbaby,
Well, then
so
I
you
will
can
watch it on
check it
Tubi. I
out.
do want to see the
Um,
baby.
yeah,
I
you
do
should
know of
definitely.
the film. I've just never seen it.
Right on, right on. Yeah, I think if you're a fan of like cult horror, it's over the top. And so yeah, I was inspired by that. I was inspired by a lot of different things. I wanted to make I've made a lot of um, video art, and so I wanted to make like a real movie. I wanted to make a commercial movie that would get an audience. I wanted to do it independently. I wanted to do it on my own. I didn't want to do it, in Hollywood. I wanted to make my own thing, obviously, because it's so weird. But I did want to make a commercial kind of product. And so yeah, that's the origin of Man Baby in a nutshell.
That's great. I wanted to know, did the opening concept, you have a quote right at the beginning about men wanting babies and this and that. So with
Yeah.
the script all finished before that showed up, or was that
No,
post?
no, the quote was kind of a little like, hey, we want to put something funny in the
Yes.
beginning to try to, make it's supposed to be a comedy. And uh, you know, to some degree it makes people laugh, to some degree it makes people uncomfortable. The opening is supposed to kind of do both. It's anti-comedy. It's, kind of Tim and Eric inspired in a way. It's not the jokes are not supposed to be haha funny. They're supposed to be uncomfortable funny. Um,
Oh, perfect. Okay, good. So I'm
and
totally on board now.
Cool, cool. Okay. So we watched it, we tested it with different people. So I'm again totally independently. I'm not talking about like real test audiences. I'm talking about testing it with like family and friends. And people are kind of confused by the beginning. They don't know whether they're supposed to laugh or what, and it's not that funny kind of. So we added that quote in to kind of, okay, it is a joke. But what's funny is that, even when people see that, I've had some people say, well, is that real? Is that a real study? And so it kind of misses the whole point of what it was supposed to be. But yes, it is a comedy. We are kind of just making jokes all the way through, or trying to, and failing.
I have to agree with people because I mean, if you don't like, I don't read anything about a film before I watch it. Nothing. I don't watch trailers. I won't even read the plot summary you send me. Don't care.
Nice. Wow.
So
Okay.
I want to go in
You
cold.
just
So
go
I
in
could
cold.
see myself would have taken that the wrong way. I didn't by the end of the film, but it definitely at the beginning, I'm like, what am I watching here? Like
Yeah.
I could see
Interesting.
that.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. That's
So yeah,
cool.
I'm a weird duck that way. I do watch a lot of films. So
Uh-huh.
you sending me a sheet of paper, I'm like, if I've agreed to watch it, I'll just watch it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. That's cool though.
Not
I mean, that's a good way to watch stuff, especially this movie, because I feel like if you come into this with a lot of preconceived notions, you might, really. I mean, a lot of people, I think, coming into this with preconceived notions might not want to watch it at all because they might think they just might have a lot of ideas of what this would be. Oh, it's totally gross sex movie. Oh, it's a kind of a stupid boys being bad movie, you know, which it kind of, I mean, it kind of is all those things, but I think it is like its own unique thing. And so, yeah, I appreciate you watching it without, you know, without judgment and just kind of watching it, you know,
That's
that's
just
cool.
who I am. I don't think I know anybody else like me. Like, I
Yeah.
wouldn't even watch Oppenheimer trailers or Barbie trailers or
Wow. Yeah.
anything. I don't care. If I'm interested, I will
Uh-huh.
watch it, and that's the end of
That is to
anything.
be commended in its
That's
own
just
way.
so.
That's commendable.
Let's go more into your film because that's why you're here. Your opening shot. Did you steal somebody's comedy club, or where did
No,
that
no,
come from?
we shot in a comedy club. We really didn't steal any shots. You know, this is a pretty like, I mean, obviously it's low budget. You can tell the way that it's made. It's
Doesn't
made
matter.
very low budget.
Don't care.
But we did everything by the book. We had permits and we you know, had locations. That was a location that the lead actor, Asa, actually he worked for that theater. So he was able to get us a good deal there. And you know, we shot there, I think, just for a weekend. So, you know, things are rushed. I wish some of that stuff looked better, but when you got, you know, 2 days and essentially 24 hours, you know, to do stuff, that's what you got. So, yeah.
I would argue I don't think it feels rushed for the film. I think that's what I
Nice.
expect from an independent film. If
Hmm.
you brought me a polished thing, I'd be like, "How long have you worked on this?" Like, I'd have more questions.
Sure, sure,
Like,
sure.
I think with Asa doing that character, it
Hmm.
really helps me to relate to what I'm getting later.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
Well,
I
that's
don't
good.
want it
That's
to be
great.
polished.
Yeah.
Like, he is a big mess. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. You want to
Yeah.
introduce me as a mess? When I left that scene, I'm like, do I like this guy? Do I hate this guy? Do I want to punch him in the face? And if that's what you're going for that scene, and that's what I drew from it. I wasn't really checking, oh, it's the lighting right. That I don't
Yeah.
care because I think you're trying to introduce me
Right,
to the
right.
concept right here.
That is a good point for sure. Yeah, I mean, he in that opening kind of sequence, which I always thought it was kind of inventive, that you know, that cross cutting back and forth between the
Yes.
show and him being kind of an asshole to his wife and family. Um, yeah, it's ambiguous. He's a fun loving guy. He's making people laugh. He is entertaining. He is interesting. But yeah, there's some problems at home, obviously, and then as we get into it, there's some big problems at home.
Okay. We got to start. Where did you find a? I guess your old job found you a man baby costume. Like, you knew exactly what you needed.
You know, we got read online a little bit for that. So, you know, people who are into the diaper fetish, who we've, you know, shared the movie with, and I've tried to get that to that community of diaper lovers. Some of them have kind of criticized the movie because we actually don't use the kind of clothing that they like. I guess they like a bigger, they like a bigger, poofier diaper, and you know, I think it's also kind of it's a budgetary concern for me, right? Was like, it's kind of cheap. You don't have to really elaborately costume somebody if they're just wearing an adult diaper. It makes it a little easier, and it's immediately readable visually as an audience. A guy in a diaper is a very visceral. Um, I'm gonna go so far as to say it's iconic. You know, a big guy in a diaper. We all know what that is. You know, it's a so that was kind of where that comes from. You know, I think that uh, yeah, the diaper fetishist would have preferred a more cartoony style diaper, I guess. But for what we got, I think it works. I mean, I think I think it's pretty instantly readable for what it is.
Okay, interesting. How many diapers did you go through, and what mishaps? You must have had lots of mishaps with a big man in a diaper.
Yeah, there were lots of packs of diapers. I guess if you notice, you know, later in the movie, there's even that special brand of diaper that the big boy diapers, which are digital, you know, created in the computer. They don't actually sell those. But yeah, we had boxes and boxes of adult diapers to use on set, and we must have gone through one at least, you know, at least every day, if not a couple
Wow.
every day.
Wow, it must have been hot. I was just thinking how hot your actor must be with lights on him and in a diaper.
You know, I think he was actually the one time he complained, and we'd have to get him on to actually tell this story a little bit better. But you know, at the end of the movie, he's on the ground and he's tied up and he's got his taped up wrists. I think if you remember that, and he's on the ground. I think he complained a lot at that when we were shooting that about being very cold, actually, because the
Oh,
door kept on being open. He's only in a diaper, and we were shooting in October at that time, so he was actually kind of catching a little bit of a chill.
so filming with kids, how much fun is that?
Those were Asa's kids too. This is like we got to just get Asa on here. Um,
Sorry.
it was good. Yeah, no. Was so kind to let us use his kids. So all the kids at the end are actually his kids, and I don't know how clear it is. Like, what did you think? Did you think that was a group? You know, ideally the idea is that that is one child that is growing up. That's
That's
the
why I
idea.
took it.
Okay, cool, cool. But that is actually a couple. That's his kid. So he's got one kid that's I think like 9 at the time, and then another kid that's maybe like 4 at the time. And then there's actually a baby too, which is my niece. So yeah, I love kids. Kids are great.
Don't worry, I'm moving on. No more Asa questions. Just those are on my list. I'm
That's okay.
setting up the scenes like the science lab, the bar scene with beer was only $3. I thought that was quite interesting. I want to go to that bar.
Well, it is 9 years ago. You know, we shot this movie. You know, it took a long time to make this. We were shooting, so those scenes were shot like 9 years ago. Um, Bar scene, lab scene, definitely 9 years ago. That was kind of the principal photography. We did a Kickstarter to get all those locations and get that stuff done, and we did that over the course of 3 or 4 months, about 9 years ago, and then we you know had more to shoot, and that took place over the coming decade.
So I want to back this up. So parts
Yeah.
of this film were shot 9 years ago, you're telling me?
Yeah, exactly. So the original principal photography, as they say in the biz, the principal photography was not totally principal. We didn't get everything done when we first started shooting, and again, we did a Kickstarter to get that to go, and that Kickstarter was successful. After we shot that, I moved cities with a partner, so I was kind of out of sorts with that, with moving. Once I was settled with my move, then we did a second Kickstarter, and that Kickstarter actually failed. So when you don't have money, you do have time. So we said, okay, we're going to do all the things that we planned in that second Kickstarter, but we're just going to have to, do it weekend by weekend and that kind of thing. So yeah, so it was about I would say 8-year process, and I'm counting the ninth year as like this ninth year has been the release, because the movie
Okay.
finally came out in theaters in 2022, which was last year, technically. Well, now it is almost a year, because that was August of 2022 when it came out in Seattle and Portland and LA, and now it's streaming on Tubi, and then it started streaming right after that, in October.
So the Manbaby billboard definitely is fake then. That's a CGI billboard.
It is a CGI billboard, but we actually just ran some billboards in the Los Angeles area.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, so we do have some Manbaby billboards. So I don't know if anybody's listening in LA. They won't see it now because they've been stopped. But we did a billboard contest where we were trying to get folks to take a selfie with the Manbaby billboard in Los Angeles. And
That's awesome.
unfortunately nobody took us up on it. So we might run it again later. We'll
Well,
see.
you're gonna have to get a little closer to me unless I'm in
Okay,
LA.
all right. Well, if you're
I will
interested.
promise I will find a way to do it. You do a lot of homage to superheroes. You have, hold on, let me take off my glasses so I can actually read my handwriting. Superman, Jerry Lee Lewis, Captain America on a t-shirt, and other celebrities I might have missed. What's going on there?
Yeah. Well, and have you seen I know you don't like to be persuaded by anything, but have you looked at the Manbaby poster?
I have. I've seen the poster.
And do you get the superhero reference there?
I thought he might be Super Baby. I was trying to. Oh, I was thinking of Noxo at one point from X
No.
Men,
Think
but I
think
don't
of,
think
think of,
that's
think
it.
about a very famous first issue cover. that the Manbaby poster might look like. Take a look
Oh
at
my
it.
God, he's coming out. He's doing this. I remember he's raising his hands up.
Yeah,
That's
no. So it's actually it's a homage to Incredible Hulk #1.
I was
So
about
if
to
you can,
say that. Okay, I
yeah,
was give me a couple more. I would have been there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There you go, Incredible Hulk. So
Oh
yeah,
my
so I
God,
mean,
God, years
I
ago.
mean, yeah. What can I say? Um, I am not the world's biggest Marvel movie, DC comic movie guy. You know, that's not really my thing with movies. But I grew up with comic books. I love superheroes. I love the concept of superheroes. And for better and for worse, it is a huge part of our culture. And so the references are just kind of part of, you know, as I mentioned, this is supposed to be a commercial mainstream movie. It's a PG-13 movie. It's supposed to be for kind of a general audience, even though it is so weird. It's supposed to be weird for everybody, you know? And you know, and I think that that's part of our culture right now, right? Are just kind of the superhero thing. And so I'm just kind of taking from the ether, taking from the water that's kind of all around us right now, and using it a little bit.
Yeah, I want to talk about Cersei for a little bit.
Yeah, Anya Maria Johnson.
I'm sure you didn't, but I did write this in my notes. Did you cast Cersei because she could put her leg over her head?
No, I did not go her because of
I
that.
did not
But
think so, but I
it's
thought you'd
interesting.
find that funny.
Something about her though, she was the first person cast.
Oh,
If it was not for Anya, I would have not met Asa, who became the Manbaby. She immediately, I said right away, she will be a perfect Cersei, and it was her
yeah.
connection with Asa. So yeah.
Let's get into Cersei. How did you design Cersei's headquarters? The van.
Oh, just you know, a little bit of luck. So in the script, Cersei's headquarters is an apartment downtown, and actually there's a line she says we're at my place downtown later in the movie, and it's kind of funny because I don't know how somebody downtown would be in an Airstream. I mean, I suppose you know it's possible, of course, but in any case. It was supposed to be like kind of a downtown loft. It was the way it was written in the script. And when I was looking for locations, you know, we had this location that was an Airstream that was, you know, and I thought, oh, this is absolutely perfect. This Airstream, you know, would be where a bohemian kind of person would live. You know, they're van life, you know, but bigger than a van, so we can actually have characters moving in and out of it because you know, obviously some big scenes take place in that location. So it can't be a van, but yeah. And then the Airstream itself, you know, I mean, we addressed it a little bit. We did a little bit of set decoration, but it was actually just pretty perfect, kind of the way it was. It was owned by some bohemian folks who kind of, you know, had it looking kind of the way that Cersei might have it, and yeah, it worked out great. I thought it was a great location. You know, I think all our locations for the low budget really do work to tell the story, you know, because each of the kind of Sal's friends, you know, Cersei with her Airstream, and then Rey with her houseboat. I, you know, not to get too heady about it, but it is showing their kind of disconnected lives. You know, they don't live in a house, and Sal and Dana. You know, they have a house with a, you know, they're a family, kind of a conventional marriage, whereas these two other characters are single and they live these kind of, you know, they live on vehicles essentially. And so, you know, it's a nice, I think, visual show of their characters, you know.
It's just something different to see. I like to see something
Yes.
different. I think that helps the
Yes.
viewer out a lot.
I think so
Now,
too. I think so too.
was Cersei's potion, what was in it to make it foam? Or was that all CGI?
Some of it's CGI, but so on set it's practical. We have some little LED lights that we put in there, and
Okay, that's how you
some
did it.
dry ice. Yeah, it's just some
I
LED
figured the
lights and some
dry
dry
ice was
ice.
there. I like to
Yeah,
see.
yeah. A lot of
Interesting.
dry ice on this movie because then when we get in the lab, we got the dry ice going all over the place. You
Oh,
know.
the dry ice is definitely going nonstop in the lab. I was
Yeah,
totally,
yeah.
it totally thought of Dr. Frankenstein. I totally thought you were just pulling stuff. I'm like, he's doing the Jane's whale. I'll give him the Jane's whale. I'm gonna let that go. Just let it go.
Nice, nice. Yeah,
I
thank you,
figured
thank
that's what you
you.
were going for. Hey, I'm having
Definitely.
fun.
definitely having fun. Definitely trying to, it's a mad science. It's James Whale. It's the reanimator. Trying to just kind of make it goofy. It's not Jurassic Park. We're not trying for real science here.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go over the applesauce scenes, which I thought was insane.
Yeah, pretty gross.
Yes, that's what
Pretty
I was
gross. I
going
think,
for.
a lot of people, I think, who've watched it have talked to me about that, about kind of, it was very messy to shoot. It was very gross, I think, for everyone. I think we got a little applesauce on the camera, which the, camera person was not happy about. But yeah, it worked out. It worked out.
Oh, it worked out great. How did you find a crib big enough for your actor?
So that crib, that's an interesting story too. The way that the crib was scripted was actually, that the crib would be more handmade looking. So it would actually kind of be like Cersei kind of duct taped it together, was the way it was originally scripted. And then I went to Target and I found just a regular baby's crib, but it was like a deluxe baby's crib for, I guess, kind of a larger home, or more wealthy people have larger rooms for their babies. And I thought, I think it's going to be more interesting visually to see him in an actual crib than realistically, like, she can't really build something this nice. And so I was torn, my like producer mind, my like director mind, my like writer mind, all so I just said, well, if he can fit in this, like, let's just do it. So I wound up, I kind of made the dive with the crib, and I think it was the right decision. I think it's visually more impressive than Cersei's handmade effort that was scripted. That might have been a little, might have looked, I mean, I don't think it would have looked even more low budget. It would have made those scenes look even more low budget. And that was the idea. I was thinking about commerce, but I think it's better. So yeah, it's just a Target crib.
A baby, I call them soothers. I don't know what you're supposed to call them with the word flirt on it. Is that an Etsy thing? Or
Oh
did you
yeah,
just
no,
make
that's
that
actually
up?
another Target thing. I found that at Target. I thought that was kind of perverse. There's lots of weird little perverse things that we do for kids, and that was one of them. And I said, oh, I'm definitely gonna put that in the movie somehow. So yeah, it's just a Target pacifier.
Awesome. Music. You do use music in this film. It's very subtle, but it is there. So who helped you with your music?
Yeah. So I work very, very closely in this movie with my producing partner and editor, Joseph Campanelli. And, we both love music. Music's a big thing. And his big thing, a little less than me, is not to use music to pad emotion. So it's great that you noticed that, because we do have a lot of scenes where, like, there is no music. It's just people talking, and then we'll go into music for transitions and that sort of thing. Um, and our composer, Morgan Cluck Keel, who was based in Seattle when we did the music. Now he's in Scotland, getting his graduate degree in music. Morgan did a great original score. So there's a lot of original music in the movie that he created just for the movie, that we worked for about a year on. So while we were kind of putting together the finished edit, we were also doing a lot of the score. And then he also took a lot of music that was already recorded, songs that exist, like the Dance Macabre, Fantasia on a Theme, things that have already pretty well known pieces, and he performed them. Those pieces are in the public domain. They're hundreds of years old, but he then performed them in our particular style. So that was kind of fun, and then of course use the style of that music for the original pieces, and then there's the Everybody Loves a Baby song. It's another song in the public domain. It's about 100 years old, I think, maybe a little older. Old recording. And that was kind of my find. I was just kind of clicking around on archive.org trying to find music for the movie, and it's a old songs can be real creepy. I don't know. Trying to think of there's a great horror movie that uses like some old song. There's probably a couple horror movies that use old songs in a good way. I think it's The Strangers. You know that? Remember that one? The
1950s, isn't it? 54, 55.
no, kind of
The
like a
one
more
that's
recent, like early 2000, The Strangers, where they come to the. It's just like a home invasion
not
movie,
sure I've
kind of.
seen it.
Not sure.
If I
Okay.
have, I don't remember it.
Yeah. In any case, old music can sound creepy. I think we can all agree on that for
Oh,
sure.
absolutely.
And so I was trying to find something in that vein, like something that could be, maybe for when the movie gets a little creepier. Obviously, the old music that we used, it didn't go creepy. I think it went more in the comic realm. But yeah, I just had found that song, and then I liked that song so much, and Joe liked that song so much. Then we found a Broadway performer and kind of arranger. I don't know what the word for that is. A composer, arranger, another guy who could make that song for us in a modern style, in a modern
Cool.
Broadway style. Actually, and that's the end credits. You have that big, kind of almost like a Broadway show number. I tend to think of it that way. The Everybody Loves a Baby, but it's for 2022. So yeah, the music is real important, and we did release a Bandcamp soundtrack. So if anybody's listening who is intrigued by our conversation about the music, they can go and they can actually buy the soundtrack on Bandcamp. Just search for Manbaby and Morgan Cluck Keel, and they'll find it on
Okay.
Bandcamp.
I made a note of Cersei's lighting of her place before you get in. Why was that? Why did you light it that way? I
And what
really
part?
liked it. Right
In
near the
the
end. We're right near the end of the film. They're about to go back in. It had a different lighting. You seemed to change it a bit.
Yeah. It was supposed to be night. It's the end. So it's just darker. She's supposed, I think it's just kind of a both practical and kind of to tell the story, because I think also the story is taking a pretty dark turn by that point. She's tied up, Sal's on the run. It's, so I think a dark kind of look works for a dark theme, and it was night, it's supposed to be late
Fair
at night
enough.
when all that's happening.
And just so people know, you do slip in a little nudity in this film near the end.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's still PG-13, but there is a big butt there. There's no butthole, but there's a butt crack.
You seem to have a lot of fun with the end credits. You seem to be enjoying yourself then. Were you just happy you were done?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I mean, meaning that last tag at the end, or what?
Yes.
Specifically?
Yes, you got it. You got exactly.
Yeah, that last tag. I think it's a joke. It's another, kind of just like the beginning, like the quote at the beginning. Like
Yes,
it's another kind of.
I hope people would get that by this point, that you're joking around a lot more.
Right. I would hope that. I would hope that. Yeah, I think that very end shot is kind of, very like Looney Tunes. The tombstones. It's and the whole movie, I think, is kind of, for better or for worse, it's trying to be like like a live action cartoon. I'm going for that kind of thing as much as I can. And so, yeah, that little tag at the end is definitely kind of a nod to Looney Tunes, I think, in a weird way, trying to be at least.
Okay, before I let you go, I have 3 fun questions for you.
Okay.
Number 1, your favorite film, please.
My Tim Lightell's favorite film right now, it kind of changes all the time, but I'm gonna just go with 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Nothing wrong with that. Well, since you brought up superheroes, your favorite superhero?
My favorite superhero, I am gonna go with. You can't go wrong with Superman, classic hero, and I'm a big sci-fi person. I like sci-fi, and Superman is kind of that classic 50s sci-fi Superman is, that kind of campy, kitschy Superman, I think would be great to see in a movie. Don't make him so serious. have some fun with Kal-El one day.
And my new favorite question: one movie you recommend to people, but they never seem to get to watch.
I'd say The Baby, actually.
That is true.
Or my
Now
own
I know where
movie
to find
sometimes.
it.
No, yeah, you should definitely try to find it on Tubi. It's really
I do
cool.
want to
It's
see it, so I have been looking for it. I never, you know what? Tubi is such a great
Tubi,
find for
yeah,
everybody. I do find things like Fortress 2
big
I found the other day. I'm like, I gotta watch that.
big props to Tubi. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I could give you three things on Tubi that I just watched that I would say like I don't know that people in my life are gonna get around to watching. I watched this movie, this like Western horror, Bone Tomahawk. You seen that
I've
one?
seen that. That came out in
Yeah, see, I've been
theaters.
telling people about it. It's just I didn't know anything about it. I watch it, you just see it on Tubi, and it's pretty good.
See, no
Nope,
trailers, just go in cold. Much
just going
better.
cold. Yeah, yeah, totally. Um, yeah, so I'm a big Tubi proponent, but if I had to tell people to watch a movie, I'd say watch my movie, watch Man Baby
Man
on
Baby
Tubi.
first. Yes.
Watch Man
Okay.
Baby first. They can go on Tubi and search for it. They can also go to manbabymovie.com. It's pretty Googleable, and there you can actually rent it without commercials. On Tubi, you'll see it with commercials, So,
It's fine. I would.
yeah.
I don't care.
I don't care
Never
about
mind me.
commercials, but yeah, to our audience, if there's any purists who really want to see it the way I want people to see it is in a theater. We don't have any screenings coming up, no festivals planned yet. I'm waiting on a couple of festivals for the later part of this year. It's really cool to see this movie on a big screen.
Oh, I'm sure it'd be
I will
different.
add that. Very different, very different. But yeah, I have no problem with the commercial breaks. It's kind of cool actually. So
Thank you for your time and have a great evening.
yeah, thank you, Simon. Have a great night.